Ninja Land.
Alright, let's continue on with my Steven Universe episodic review with the second episode in the series, Laser Light Cannon. I said in the Gem Glow episode review that I kind of gave it away, that I really, really like this episode, and this second episode is amazing. It's an amazing standalone episode. Compared with, I think in the first half of the season, or I think I don't know exactly how they categorized it, but I think the first 50 episodes are considered a season by the network. But in that first half of that season, the first 25 episodes, this is probably one of the best episodes, period. And it's the second episode in the series. I do think it kind of works. It works so much better than the last episode as a standalone episode, if you were just play it on TV or something like that, because I think it's beautiful. It introduces my favorite character, Greg Universe. Greg is my favorite character in the entire series. I feel that he's probably one of the most interesting characters, and he's got the most heart, I feel. And this exemplifies it perfectly. It's a perfect introduction to him as a character.
Just needed to see your old man, pal around, learn some lessons about life.
It has a beautiful song. I know this show, it's the perfect first song. I guess technically the intro counts as like the first song, but I feel like this is the first real song, and it's a amazing kickoff because I think it's I don't know, I don't want to say it's the best song but I think they're all, like, most of them are up here, like, amazing songs, and it was right up there. It's an amazing song. Let Me Drive My Van Into Your Heart. It fit the scene really well, and it's amazing how they morphed it to fit a bunch of different little situations. One was just like, oh, let's just goof off and have some fun. Oh, we're meeting the gems. The gems don't think that that's going to work. It worked for a bunch of different situations, and I really liked how they morphed it. I feel like it was a great song. It's really catchy. I'm guessing that got a lot of individual purchases for that specific song, and I'm glad it did. It's a very good song. I'm really curious on how she managed to get voice actors that are also I guess maybe voice actors, they that's their instrument, so most voice actors are kind of musically inclined. But I applaud it. It introduces my favorite character. It does a really good. I feel like if you were to show this as a first episode, it might not work as well because it doesn't have as much excitingness. But I feel like it works so much better as a standalone episode. It's interesting because a lot of people know me as kind of like action. Ah, man, I can't sit down and watch a show unless it's just explosions every 5 seconds. But I mean, one of my favorite episodes of this show has no action, and I complained a little bit about the action in the last episode. And I'll say this: you can't judge action that isn't there. It's not fair to not give it points because the action is bad because there is no action. This was I love these episodes with so much heart. I feel like it introduces Greg Universe. It introduces the relationship between him and his son, and it kind of like sets a spark off between both Steven and Greg's relationship to Rose Quartz. Very good episode. Very, very good. I think that was beautiful. I will say, this is the first time I've noticed that earlier on in the series, I don't know, I'll be paying more attention to this, but in this episode, they seem to have drawn Greg significantly rounder. And I don't mean he seems a little bigger in other, like, shots, but as the story progresses on, he stops being, like, round. He seems different in this episode. He seems significantly more round. Like, you know, he's always been, like, big, but, like, a regular person big. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but he's always been, his character isn't a ball, but sometimes he isn't like ball round, but he's drawn that way in a few sequences in this episode. I'm going to be paying attention to that. Every time I see him, I'm going to be saying something along those lines. He looks more like he looks more like he's on model for the later episodes when I'll point that out when that happens. But I mean, I don't think that's fair to fault the animators are. That's not a complaint or anything. That's just more of like, a little goof, or maybe a goof, or like a little Easter egg kind of thing that I noticed. Specifically, it's not really a big deal. Early on in shows, specifically animated shows, animators are still getting used to how to draw the character on model, and it's clear here, obviously. So all in all, this is a beautiful episode. I feel oh, and I almost missed this most important bit. It shows the relationship between Greg and the gems. Greg, I feel like Greg is one of the best fathers in television, because so many of them are just idiots or just bad people. And I mean, nobody's gonna try and accuse Greg of being a rocket scientist, but nobody in Beach City is. He's not smarter. He's not dumber than everybody in Beach City or anything like that. He's just not a superhuman. He's just a person. And yeah, and the gems kind of look down on him a little bit, and they're because he's not amazing. And you can see that, and you see that progress throughout the entire series, and I think that was a really good introduction to their relationship with him, because they kind of look down on him.
If it belonged to my mom, I bet my dad knows where it is. He can help us save the day. Huh? Eh?
Greg is nice, Stephen, but I doubt Rose would entrust someone like him with such a powerful weapon.
Your dad is kind of a mess, Stephen.
Amethyst!
I'm just saying, even if she did leave it with him, he probably broke it, or lost it, or dropped it in the ocean by now.
True.
He's got so much heart. He's such a loving person. He's not a bad person. He's not an idiot, as it showed later in the series. I will say he's more artsy, I guess. He's got a bit of an artsy person, not necessarily a laser focused type of person. He's not a suit and tie kind of guy. He's a bit of an artsy kind of fellow, if you can understand that. And I think, I can personally identify with that. But I think this is just a beautiful episode. It introduces so many amazing things in such a small amount of time, and it still manages to be a really amazing, heart-filled episode. It's beautiful. This one's an episode I just recommend you sit down watching, and not in a sequence. Just watch this episode sometime. It's a really good one. Highly recommend it. All right. Next episode, that concludes my review for Laser Light Cannon. The next episode we will be reviewing